For as long as he could remember, Big Mike had always been the strong one. The calm one. The confident one. The man who could walk onto any movie set and command attention without even trying. People admired him, respected him, looked up to him, but there was one person who could turn that confident man into a nervous mess with a single smile. Omeche Oko. And the funny thing was that she had absolutely no idea. It was a Saturday afternoon when Michael realized just how deeply he had fallen for her. They weren't on a movie set. They weren't attending an event. They weren't surrounded by cameras. They were simply grocery shopping. A completely ordinary day, or at least it should have been. Omeche had called him earlier that morning. "Mike, I'm going shopping. So you're coming with me?" Michael laughed. Was that a request? No. Then what was it? A notification. An hour later, he was pushing a shopping cart through a supermarket while Omeche happily moved from aisle to aisle. And strangely, he loved every second of it. He loved watching her compare products she would probably buy anyway. He loved listening to her random stories. He loved the way she laughed whenever he complained. Everything about the moment felt simple, yet somehow perfect. At one point, Omeche picked up 2 different brands of chocolate. Which one? Michael looked at them, then at her, then back at the chocolates. The left one. Why, you smiled when you picked it up. Omeche laughed. That's your reason. Michael shrugged. It seems reliable. The smile she gave him in that moment stayed in his head for days. Because it wasn't just happiness he felt around her anymore. It was peace. A kind of peace he couldn't find anywhere else. That night, lying in bed, Michael finally admitted something he had been avoiding. He was in love. Hopelessly. Deeply. Completely. The realization should have scared him. Instead, it felt like finally accepting the truth. The following months only made things worse. Or better, depending on how he looked at it. Every time Omeche called, his mood improved instantly. Every time she laughed, he smiled. Every time she succeeded, he felt proud. And every time she struggled, his heart ached for her. He cared too much. Far too much. One evening, after a difficult filming day, Omeche called him. Her voice sounded tired, exhausted. The moment Michael heard it, concern filled his chest. Have you eaten? A pause. Not yet. Michael closed his eyes. Omeche. What? It's almost 9. I know. Why haven't you eaten? She laughed softly. I forgot. Michael shook his head. 30 minutes later he was standing outside her apartment with food. When she opened the door and saw him, she blinked. You're crazy. Eat. I'm serious. Eat first. She laughed again. And that sound alone made the drive worthwhile. For the next hour they sat together eating and talking. Nothing dramatic happened. No grand confessions. No life-changing moment. Yet while watching her smile across the table, Michael felt something settle inside his heart. A certainty. A quiet, beautiful certainty. He loved her. And he wasn't going to stop. Then came her birthday. The birthday Michael planned more carefully than any project he had ever worked on. For nearly 6 months, he prepared. He collected photographs, videos, voice notes, letters, memories. Every tiny detail mattered. Because this wasn't just a birthday celebration. It was a love letter disguised as an event. The morning of her birthday was torture. Michael wanted to call her. Wanted to hear her voice. Wanted to wish her happy birthday immediately. But he stayed silent. The surprise depended on it. Meanwhile, Omeche spent the day becoming increasingly upset. No message. No call. No Michael. Nothing. By evening, she felt hurt. And Michael hated knowing that. But he trusted the plan. At exactly 9 o'clock, a luxury vehicle arrived outside her apartment. Along with a handwritten note. The note simply read, "Tonight, let me remind you how special you are." The handwriting instantly gave him away. An hour later, Omeche arrived at a private beach resort. The sight before her left her speechless. Thousands of golden lights stretched across the sand. White flowers decorated every corner. Soft music drifted through the night air. And everywhere she looked, she saw memories. Their first movie together. Their funniest moments. Their road trips. Their inside jokes. Their victories. Their friendship. every chapter beautifully displayed. As she walked through the memories, tears filled her eyes. Because she suddenly understood something. Michael had been paying attention all these years. To everything. The little things. The ordinary things. The moments she thought nobody noticed. He noticed all of them. By the time she reached the final pathway, tears streamed freely down her face. Then she saw him, standing beneath a canopy of lights. Waiting. His hands were in his pockets. But she could tell he was nervous. Very nervous. Which was unusual. Big Mike rarely looked nervous. But tonight was different. Because tonight was real. Ohms. His voice was soft. Happy birthday. She laughed through her tears. You ignored me all day. Michael winced. I know. I wanted to fight you. That's fair. She laughed again. And immediately he felt better. Because her laughter had always been his favorite sound. For several moments they simply looked at each other. Neither speaking. Neither moving. The emotion between them felt too big for words. Finally Michael took a deep breath. Then another. Before speaking. Omeche, there are people who enter your life and change everything. His voice trembled slightly. Fresh tears appeared in her eyes. Michael stepped closer. You changed mine. The ocean waves rolled softly behind them. The stars sparkled overhead. Everything felt still. Peaceful. Like the world was giving them a moment. Michael continued. I love your kindness. Closer. I love your strength. Closer. I love your heart. His eyes glistened. I love the way you make people feel important. A tear slipped down his cheek. And I love the way you make life feel lighter. Now tears flowed freely from both of them. Years of emotions finally finding words. Years of love finally finding a voice. Michael smiled through the tears. Then quietly said, every beautiful memory I have from the last few years somehow includes you. The words settled between them. Warm, honest, powerful. He looked directly into her eyes. And for the first time, completely unguarded, he spoke from the deepest part of his heart. Omeche Oko, if someone asked me what happiness looks like, I'd probably point at you. A sob escaped her lips. Not from sadness, but from the overwhelming sincerity in his voice. Michael smiled softly, because after all these years, he wasn't hiding anymore. Not from her, not from himself. And standing beneath a sky full of stars, surrounded by memories, lights, and the woman he loved more than anyone else, Big Mike finally gave Omeche the greatest gift he had. His heart. Entirely. Completely. Without reservation. And that's the gist for today on Sandy's Real Gist. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you're always the first to catch the latest gist. Trending stories, and real talk. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay entertained, and remember. Real news, real talk, real gist. See you in the next one. Bye.